Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to the webinar series of Integrating Whole Person Education in Online Environment. This webinar is a joint webinar between Universitas Kristen Satya Wacana, Sanata Dharma University, Petra Christian University, Maranatha Christian University, and Duta Wacana Christian University, supported by United Board. Today's webinar is the second series entitled The Design of Online Environment for Teaching and Learning During and After COVID-19. Before we proceed, let me introduce myself. I am Deborah Natalia Sucito from Universitas Kristen Satya Wacana. I will be the Master of Ceremony and the moderator in today's webinar. I would like to welcome our precious keynote speakers, Mr. Galvin, Professor Iwan, and Mrs. Marta. Our honorable guest, the representative of United Board, the leaders of the organizing universities, and the alumni of Whole Person Education Academy, cohort 2017 and 2018, and all the participants who joined in this webinar. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, I would like to invite Joseph Ernest Mambu, Ph.D., the Vice-Rector for Institutional Relations and Internationalization, Universitas Kristen Satya Wacana, to give the opening remarks as the representative of the organizing committee. Dr. Mambu, time is yours.
Thank you, Buddha. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
It's a great opportunity for us to be here, and I believe that it is part of God's will to gather us around here to have the webinar, the second series of the Integrating Whole Person Education in Online Environment. It is my privilege to be here to welcome you all, and specifically, I would like to thank many parties, and on behalf of the committee of this webinar and also the management of Universitas Kristen Satya Wacana, I would like to extend my gratitude to my fellow committee members from Universitas Kristen Satya Wacana, Budep, Mas Ryan, and some other people. Universitas Sanata Dharma, Universitas Kristen Maranatha, Universitas Kristen Petra Surabaya, Universitas Kristen Duta Wacana Yogyakarta. Without the involvement of the great universities in Indonesia here, it is not possible to conduct this webinar. And the topics of our webinar are based on our informal chat through the WhatsApp or other media. And the student formation, I remember Pak Oda talked about it. And last week we enjoyed the talk on student formation. And Dr. and Father Johnny Go has beautifully expressed or explained how we can form students, whether it is good to have the student formation in online platforms or offline platforms. And yeah, some people are saying that it is good to have the student formation online. Some others say, no, offline is better than the online one. Yeah, and some of the participants say, things being equal, I think it's better to have offline. Yeah, but this is a difficult time. We are facing the global pandemic, and we need to survive educationally with this kind of online everywhere. So the challenge is real. The issue is real, how we can form our students through online environment. Today's webinar will focus more on the design of online environment for teaching and learning during and after COVID-19. And before I go on with my opening remarks, I also want to extend my gratitude to the United Board for Christian Higher Education in Asia, and welcome to Dr. Angela Y. Ching Wong as the Vice President for Programs, and then also Dr. Hope Anthony, Director for Faculty Development, I also noticed that Miss Sarah Wong is also joining us. It's great to have you all. Without the collaboration between the 5 universities and the United Board, this webinar is not possibly conducted or held twice today. Yeah. Okay, so let me go on a little bit more on the mission of our universities and also the United Board, because the United Board really supports the idea of whole person. And I remember that in the, at least in the website, and also there are whole person education alumni here, a bunch of people who graduated from the whole person education training. We want to develop our students intellectually in terms of academic rigor, spiritually and ethically, where students have concerns on social issues and they inquire, they have moral inquiry. So this is a noble, this is a tall order. It is not easy to achieve this, especially during the pandemic. But I believe that the webinars, and this is the second time for us to have the webinar, will enlighten us to be more involved in developing our students in terms of whole person. And I also have another reference. I have just finished reading Critical Narrative as Pedagogy, written by E4 Goodson and Sierto Jill in 2014. They also have something to say about the whole person education. According to them, whole person learning involves all aspects of what it means to be human. These include emotions, intellect, moral intuitions, connections, which include self-awareness and sense of identity, connection with others and the world around us, and one sense of aesthetics, spirituality, and actions. So there are many ways of how we make sense of whole person. And I believe that the United Board is part of the global movement to equip our students and teachers to be more knowledgeable about whole person education, especially during the pandemic. It is, again, a really tall order that we can still survive and do the whole person education in whatever ways and means that we can do. So I hope that today's meeting also will inspire us to cope with the difficulties or the struggles during the pandemic and things that might happen after we are finished with the pandemic. So I would like also to extend my gratitude to honorable speakers that will speak today. I will have to mention Mr. Galvin, Professor Iwan Pranoto, and also Ibu Marta Nandari. These people will, these speakers will enlighten us more about the design of online environment for teaching. I don't know much about Mr. Galvin, so I look forward to hearing from you. For Professor Iwan, I happened to join one of his earlier webinars, and one of the notions that I still remember in my mind is about kasmaran belajar in bahasa Indonesia, or being so much in love or infatuated with learning. The enthusiasm of learning is something that I believe Professor Iwan Pranoto will talk a little bit more on. And when a student is really in the state of flow, it's great. In the state of flow, it's great that we can do whatever we can. We can do the student formation when a particular student is really in the state of flow. Yeah, I believe that Professor Iwan can have something else to say about that. And also Bu Marta, my senior colleague from the same institution, she is a seasoned teacher and teacher educator, and I believe that during the pandemic, she also struggled, but she managed to deal with the classes online. Okay, so without further ado, I would like to return the floor again to the MC, Bu Deborah. Sorry if I have said something that is not appropriate, but I hope that this meeting, again, this webinar will be useful for everyone here. On behalf of the management of UKSW and the committee members, let's enjoy our webinar. Thank you, and God bless you all.